The Stoics, wise thinkers of ancient times, believed that true strength comes from mastering yourself, not controlling others. In today's fast-moving world, their teachings offer a steady guide. Have you ever walked away from someone feeling emotionally drained? Toxic people can disturb your inner peace and make you question yourself. But what if you had clear, practical tools to handle these difficult moments with calm and confidence? In this video, we'll explore 10 Stoic-inspired strategies to help you deal with toxic people with kindness, calm, and strength. Join me on this journey to protect your emotional well-being and subscribe for more tips on building mental resilience. By the end, you'll have a Stoic toolkit to face toxic people confidently. Take a deep breath. Let's begin. Number 1. Spotting and understanding toxic people. Imagine yourself as a guard standing at the gate of your inner fortress, a place that holds your peace, health, and emotional safety. Awareness is your first defense. Just like a watchful guard notices threats, you need to spot the signs of toxic people entering your life. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, taught that it's not events that upset you, but how you judge them. This is especially true with toxic people. Their negativity and manipulation don't have the power to control you. It's your emotional response that decides whether they disturb your inner peace. Learning to see situations calmly and clearly is key. Start by recognizing toxic behaviors. Here are some warning signs. Constant criticism. Toxic people may always find faults in you or your choices. Their criticism, whether subtle or obvious, leaves you feeling small and doubtful of yourself. Manipulation. They often use sneaky tactics to get what they want. They might use flattery, guilt, or threats to control your actions. Endless negativity. Toxic people seem to thrive on negativity. They constantly complain and drag others down, always focusing on the worst side of life. There are also common toxic personalities to watch out for. The narcissist. Someone who craves attention and admiration. They might seem charming at first, but their relationships are one-sided, leaving you emotionally drained. The gossip. This person stirs up drama. They spread rumors, cause conflicts, and enjoy watching others argue. The energy vampire. Someone who drains your energy. After spending time with them, you feel mentally and emotionally exhausted. Understanding these toxic traits helps you create a mental map of potential threats to your inner fortress. Just like a Roman Stoic like Seneca would plan for battle, you can use this awareness to predict toxic behaviors and build a strategy to protect your emotional well-being. Number 2. Strengthen your inner fortress. Aurelius, the well-known Stoic emperor of Rome, understood that ruling a vast empire required strength, wisdom, and unwavering determination. The same qualities are crucial for strengthening the walls of your inner citadel, your emotional well-being. Your personal boundaries form the foundation of this citadel. When facing toxic people, boundaries are the clear lines you draw to show what behavior you will and won't accept. Just as a powerful monarch wouldn't allow enemies to cross into his land, you shouldn't allow harmful people to invade your emotional space. This is where Stoic philosophy comes in, emphasizing reason and self-control. The first step is to figure out what drains your energy or makes you feel out of alignment with yourself. Is it a friend's constant negativity, a coworker's manipulative actions, or a family member's intrusive advice? Be honest with yourself about what you can't tolerate. Once you've identified your boundaries, the next step is to express them clearly and calmly. Channel your inner Marcus Aurelius. Be firm but fair. Use strategies that promote healthy communication. Focus on how you feel and use I statements. For example, instead of saying, "You're always negative," try, "I feel exhausted," when conversations only focus on what's wrong. Be specific and leave no room for confusion. Instead of saying, "I need space," say, "I can't talk right now, but I'd love to catch up later this week." Stand by your words, but do so with kindness. There's a difference between being assertive and being aggressive. Confidence doesn't need to come with hostility. Remember, setting boundaries isn't a one-time event. Enforcing them requires persistence, like a Stoic ruler always watching for threats. A weak wall is easy to break. If someone ignores your limits, gently but firmly remind them of the boundary. In some cases, you might need to limit contact or step away entirely. Setting boundaries isn't about punishing others, it's about protecting yourself. The Stoics were careful to avoid envy. a common root of toxic behavior. By creating boundaries, you're not being selfish, you're preserving your emotional health and making room for inner peace. On your Stoic journey toward a tranquil life, a strong, well-guarded citadel with clearly defined boundaries is an essential part of your foundation. Number 3. Become uninteresting to the emotional barbarian. Imagine facing an emotional barbarian driven by negativity, always looking for conflict. Some toxic people act this way. They crave attention and feed on your emotional reactions. They poke and prod, hoping for anger or hurt to fuel their fire. This is where Stoic ideals of emotional control and indifference shine, inspiring a powerful tool called the Gray Rock Method. Therapist Paul Fredman created the Gray Rock Method, which means becoming emotionally less responsive. It's not about shutting down completely, but becoming like a smooth gray rock, neutral and unyielding. Negativity slides off without anything to grab onto. Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher, reminds us that true happiness lies in enjoying the present without relying on the future. This wisdom teaches us to stop seeking attention, especially from toxic people who thrive on reactions. By using the Gray Rock Method, you deny them the emotional response they crave. In the storm of their chaos, you become dull and uninteresting, like a lifeless rock. Neutral responses become your armor. If someone insults your work, simply say, "That's interesting," and move on. No arguments, no justifications. Toxic people often try to control your emotions through sarcasm, guilt, or hostility. But by staying calm, factual, and emotionally detached, you refuse to be pulled into their drama. Seneca also teaches that happiness comes from freeing ourselves from hopes and fears. Don't give toxic people the emotional power they seek. The Gray Rock Method is a powerful tool, but not a magic fix. Toxic individuals may escalate at first, testing your emotional strength. Stay steady, stay consistent, and remember, their negativity is not your burden. By using the Stoic-Inspired Method, you shift from being their emotional victim to an unmoved observer, protecting your inner peace and well-being. Number 4. The broken record technique. Picture yourself facing endless manipulation. A toxic person slowly wearing down your boundaries with arguments and emotional games. It's exhausting, but don't worry. The Stoic principles of reason and perseverance inspire the broken record technique, a simple yet powerful defense. This technique involves calmly repeating your position, like a broken record stuck on the same phrase. It may seem basic, but it's surprisingly effective against manipulation. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that true freedom is the ability to set your boundaries and say no without explanation. The broken record technique embodies this wisdom. By repeating your stance calmly and consistently, you show unwavering resolve and make it harder for manipulators to steer you off course. Manipulators use emotions as weapons, flattery, guilt, or anger, to bend you to their will. But by sticking to your repeated statement, you strip their tactics of power. Your steady repetition disrupts their flow, throws them off balance, and reveals the emptiness of their arguments. Imagine waves crashing against a solid rock. The rock doesn't move, and eventually, the waves fade away. Contrary to what some may think, the broken record technique isn't about being confrontational. It's about firmly holding your ground while staying calm. Stoicism teaches us to let reason guide us, not emotions. By using this technique, you empower yourself to resist manipulation and protect your inner peace with quiet, unshakable determination. Number 5. Don't get hooked by negativity. Imagine someone casting a fishing line, hoping to hook you with negative thoughts and drag you into emotional chaos. They throw out insults, guilt trips, or provocations, hoping to get a reaction that fuels their drama. This is a common tactic of toxic people. But Stoic philosophy offers a powerful shield: indifference. Indifference doesn't mean you don't care. It means staying emotionally detached from negativity. The Stoics, especially Epictetus, made this clear. Apathy is feeling nothing at all. Indifference is choosing not to be ruled by painful emotions or distorted judgments. When facing toxic people, this distinction is life-changing. The first step is awareness. Learn to spot the bait. Is it a sarcastic comment? A subtle insult? A guilt trip disguised as kindness? Once you see the trap, it already loses some power over you. The bait is designed to trigger emotions like anger or defensiveness, but you can choose not to take the hook. Stoic indifference lets you step back and observe calmly, as if watching from a distance. The negative words lose their grip when you don't react. Without your response, their drama fades and dies. This doesn't mean being cold. Stoicism encourages positive emotions but teaches you to release what you can't control. By practicing indifference, you shift from a victim of drama to a peaceful observer. Your inner calm stays intact, a safe harbor untouched by the storms others create. Number 6. The art of the non-reaction. Imagine someone who treats words like weapons, a gladiator who thrives on arguments and conflict. Toxic people often use insults to provoke and drag you into their emotional mess. But the Stoic tool of non-reaction is a quiet yet powerful defense. Silence, used with purpose, can break this toxic cycle. It robs them of the emotional feedback they crave. But staying silent is hard. We're taught to defend ourselves, to win arguments. Yet Stoicism reminds us that true strength lies in mastering our reactions. A well-timed silence is an act of control. Marcus Aurelius understood this well. Toxic people work in patterns, provoke, then feed off your response. Your anger fuels their toxicity. But choosing silence breaks the cycle. Imagine a tennis player serving into an empty court. Their energy falls flat, met with nothing but quiet. Silence isn't weakness, it's a statement. It shows strength, discipline, and a refusal to engage in negativity. Remember Marcus Aurelius's words, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Your silence embodies Stoic virtues, calm, reason, and detachment. Expect escalation. Toxic people may try harder to get a reaction, but if you're hard to get around, if you hold their insults lose power. Non-reaction won't always be the right approach, but it's a valuable tool. It diffuses conflict, preserves your peace, and shows true emotional mastery. In the end, choosing silence is a bold act of independence and inner strength. Number 7. Limit your exposure. Imagine you are inside a walled fortress, carefully protecting your mental health with strong boundaries. But even the strongest walls can't completely block out outside threats. Negative people, like persistent intruders, might still try to break through your defenses. This is where the Stoic idea of controlling what you can control becomes essential. While you can't control how toxic people act, you can control how much time you spend with them. One of your first defenses is to limit the time you interact with toxic individuals. When possible, create physical distance. Can you avoid them entirely? Maybe you can reschedule a lunch or politely step away from a negative conversation. Remember, this isn't about being rude, it's about protecting yourself. Just as a Stoic leader wouldn't send soldiers into an unnecessary battle, you shouldn't expose yourself to needless negativity. Of course, it's not always possible to avoid toxic people. Sometimes they might be coworkers, family members, or close friends. In these situations, emotional distance becomes crucial. Epictetus, a well-known Stoic philosopher, taught that happiness and freedom start with understanding. His words remind us of the power of mental detachment. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you can understand someone's negativity without letting it affect your own mindset. Observe their behavior calmly, like an outsider, without letting your emotions get caught up in their storm. Another useful tool is cognitive reframing. Toxic people often try to pull others down with negativity. But you can turn this around. Let's say a coworker is always complaining. Instead of getting dragged down, you can reframe the situation. They must be having a tough day. By shifting your perspective, you stop their negativity from stealing your peace. Toxic people feed on negativity, so try to focus on the positive. Don't let them drain your happiness. Fill your life with things that uplift you. Hobbies you enjoy, meaningful work, and supportive friends. Let these positive elements be your emotional shield, a safe haven from negativity. Setting physical and emotional boundaries isn't cowardly, it's wise. Protecting your peace and practicing self-care are essential. Stoics valued living morally and rationally. By limiting your exposure to negativity, you create space to cultivate a peaceful, thriving inner life. Picture your fortress, surrounded by a wide moat, not just a physical barrier, but an emotional one, guarding your serenity from the toxic forces outside. In the end, your well-being is worth defending. Number 8. Prioritize self-care. Dealing with toxic people is like being in constant battle. It drains your energy, leaving you feeling exhausted. That's why self-care is crucial for protecting yourself from negativity. Just like a Stoic warrior tends to their wounds and sharpens their blade after combat, your Stoic way of life should make self-care a top priority. Treat it as a vital part of your daily routine, an investment in your mental strength. Schedule it like any other important task. By doing this, you replenish your emotional reserves and build resilience against negativity through these self-care practices. Engage in activities that bring you joy. Find what truly makes you happy and helps you relax. Whether it's running, yoga, painting, or writing, these activities allow you to distress, recharge, and return to life with renewed energy and perspective. The Stoics practiced mindfulness, similar to meditation. Through meditation, you can quiet your mind, release negative thoughts, and cultivate inner peace. Number 9. Don't try to fix them. The urge to help and heal someone you care about can be powerful, especially when their behavior harms others. But in Stoicism, trying to change someone often leads to frustration and drains your emotional energy. Real transformation must come from within the individual. It can't be forced. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our own reactions and choices. A toxic person is responsible for their own actions. They must consciously decide to confront their negativity and seek virtue. Taking on this burden for them only creates an unhealthy dynamic, preventing them from owning their growth. One of Stoicism's core teachings is accepting what lies beyond our control, including other people's actions and the unpredictable nature of life. A toxic person's negativity is a prime example. Accepting this truth frees you from the futile effort of trying to change them. Picture your inner peace as a thriving garden. Toxic individuals, with their negativity, are like weeds threatening to choke your growth. By trying to pull the weeds from someone else's garden, you neglect your own. Focus on what nourishes you, building positive connections, cultivating virtue, and practicing self-care. While Stoicism values helping others, it's important to recognize your limits. If you feel called to guide someone, do so gently, not by dictating their path, but by offering resources for self-reflection. A book on communication, a therapist's recommendation, or a kind suggestion to reflect on their actions might spark their introspection. Your greatest influence comes from living by Stoic principles yourself. Let your calm demeanor, thoughtful responses, and unwavering focus on virtue serve as a beacon. In this way, you inspire change not by force, but by the quiet power of your example. Number 10. When to walk away. You've built emotional detachment, planted a healthy inner garden, and strengthened your walls with clear boundaries. Yet, despite your best efforts, the negativity from a toxic person lingers, threatening your peace. Knowing when to walk away is a key Stoic principle. Leaving a harmful relationship, especially with family or coworkers, can be incredibly hard, but protecting your mental health is essential. Stoics value living a moral, rational life, and staying in a relationship that robs you of inner calm goes against those ideals. This is why stepping away from toxicity aligns with Stoic philosophy. Your inner serenity is a sacred space built through self-care, mindfulness, and Stoic practices. A toxic person's constant negativity is like a siege on your fortress. By walking away, you protect your emotional well-being and preserve your peace. Seneca reminds us, the whole future lies in uncertainty. Live immediately. Staying in a harmful relationship wastes precious time and energy. Leaving frees you to invest in meaningful connections and experiences that help you thrive. Accepting what you can't control is central to Stoicism, and other people's actions are beyond your control. Walking away isn't weakness, it's accepting what you can't change and choosing to detach from negativity. You're not giving up on the person but on the toxic dynamic that harms your well-being. Walking away shouldn't be impulsive. Ask yourself, have you tried communication and setting boundaries? Is negativity a pattern or an isolated event? Does the relationship seriously impact your health? Leaving doesn't have to be dramatic. Gradually distancing yourself, declining invitations, or limiting contact are all valid ways to step back. Remember, removing yourself from harm is a Stoic act of self-care. Prioritizing your peace creates space for positive relationships and a life led by reason, virtue, and tranquility. Finally, forgive yourself and let go. Imagine carrying a heavy bag of resentment on a long journey. It slows you down, drains your energy, and prevents growth. Forgiveness in Stoic terms is releasing that burden, not for the other person, but for yourself. Stoics teach that true power lies in controlling your thoughts and actions, not changing others. Letting go of resentment clears the way for inner peace. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing toxic behavior. It means accepting what happened, recognizing it's beyond your control, and choosing to move forward with a lighter heart. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Holding on to resentment keeps you chained to the past. Forgiving yourself breaks that cycle, freeing you to live fully. Forgiveness is a process, not an instant event. Start by acknowledging your emotions. Suppressing anger or hurt only delays healing. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself as kindly as you would a friend in pain. Try to view the situation objectively. Was the toxic person acting out of malice, or were they struggling with their own battles? Shifting your perspective can cultivate empathy and make forgiveness easier. Forgiveness is a gift to yourself. By letting go of bitterness, you create space for healing, growth, and a more fulfilling life. Picture yourself continuing your journey, your burden lifted, heart open to new adventures, strengthened by serenity and wisdom. By applying these Stoic practices, you transform from a passive victim of negativity to a resilient warrior of inner tranquility. Remember, a life free from toxic influences is a life worth protecting and fighting for. If wisdom has served you today, and if this helped, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because I promise, watching this video again will make you stronger. So, which Stoic technique will you try? And which Stoic lesson or technique should we explore next? Share your thoughts below in the comments. The pursuit of wisdom is endless.